Let us spend some time in understanding essay writing. I hope at least everybody tried writing an essay some point of time in your life, right? When was the last time you attempted an essay? School days. College. Which college you got essay? Intermediate? Degree? You got essay writing? It's a long answers. Any competition. Acha, good. Why essay paper? Why essay paper was introduced in your mains exam? It is to test your knowledge. To test your comprehension skills. To test your answer writing skills and to test how good you argue. These are the reasons why essay paper was introduced. Everybody here is knowledgeable. Everybody. How do you know that? That you are knowledgeable, I am knowledgeable? Because since I think 4 years till, let us consider your age is 21. What are you doing all these years? 4 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి 21 దాకా ఏం చేస్తున్నారు? ఏం చేయట్లే. What is that? Studying. మీ వాయిస్ వినాలనుకున్నా ఫైనలీ. You are studying. What do you mean by studying? Starting with LKG till your graduation, every day you are listening few things, learning few things, understanding few things, applying few things. So, by 21 years, once you are done with your graduation, there is something called consolidated knowledge. Right? So here, whatever knowledge you possess till date, that is a raw material to write a very good essay. What do you mean by testing your comprehension skill? Comprehension skill largely speaks about how good is your English. Most of you might be finding some difficulty in writing a very good sentence in a concised manner. But over a period of time, you can cultivate the habit of writing a relevant content in a concised format, in a coherent manner, so that examiner understands your knowledge. Let us consider, I got a lot of things in my mind. I know many things. I got very in-depth knowledge about a topic. But my writing skills are poor. What is the probability of getting good marks? Would I get good marks? Emma, ostaya manchi marklu? నీ వెనకాల అమ్మాయి వస్తాయా? వస్తాయి. నువ్వు మంచిదానే కాబట్టి అట్లా వేస్తావు మార్కులు. ఎగ్జామర్ డజంట్ డూ దట్. నాలెడ్జ్ షుడ్ బి ప్రజెంటెడ్ ఇన్ అన్ అప్రోప్రియేట్ మేనర్. వాట్ ఈస్ దట్ అప్రోప్రియేట్ మేనర్? టు ప్రజెంట్ కంటెంట్ ఇన్ అప్రోప్రియేట్ మేనర్, యు నీడ్ దిస్ comprehension skill. It is about your skill on English language and how much time a candidate requires to master comprehension skill. All of a sudden, within 24 days, you can't improve your comprehension skill, right? It is not like ID instant dosa better. It doesn't happen that way. Therefore, you need to do a particular thing. Practice. And This is the reason why we started this mains test series. I don't know whether you play cricket or at least watch cricket. How many of you play cricket? Every boy? You don't play any game? Which games? Mostly all, including Tokkudu Bella Avi. Okay. In this case, practice is very essential. It is like a launching pad for you to reach heights in your career. Before you write the examination conducted by TSPSC, you need to be ready to the battle, final battle. Therefore, the more you practice, the better you are prepared for the final battle. If you know Virat Kohli, he spends a lot of time in nets, playing some hundreds of balls. Why? If you spend less time in net practice, the moment you go to the real game, when you bat, you don't find it easy to score runs. Likewise, if you attempt a test series, attend test series, write answers regularly, get them evaluated. When we provide model answer, check it, and then it will be improved. It is not an overnight entity which can be improved within 24 hours or within 1 week. It takes time. The more you write, the better you become, and the better your comprehension skills will become. To test answer writing skill. Answer writing skill means not writing whatever you know in whichever format or whichever order you like to write it. There must be coherence in your answer writing. What is coherence? To understand coherence, let us consider a marriage function, a wedding anniversary, dinner or lunch as an example. What is the first thing that is served in any lunch or dinner? Perigannam bedtara first evaraina? No. She said very important thing. Water, very good. Then salad, starter, soup. Then main course. Then dessert. Then finally ice cream. Then finally pan. Are Hyderabad pan tinukunde etla? What do you mean by this? There is an order for everything. Even your answer writing, there is an order. So, content should be presented in an orderly manner. Now, what are the steps in essay writing? The first and foremost important step is choose the topic which is comfortable to you. Second important step is brainstorming. Third one is prioritize and sequencing. Next part is introduction, body, conclusion. These are steps in essay writing. Now, among all the 6 steps, which one is important? Brainstorming. You got 3 sections in essay, right? How many questions will be given? In each section, how many questions will be given? 3? 3 questions. Out of 3, how many you need to write? So, that is called picking the question. And most of the students commit this mistake. Let us consider in section 1, first question is on inclusive growth. Second question is on women. Third question is on poverty. Okay? And fortunately, you prepared all the 3. By looking at a question on inclusive growth, you feel very happy and you do this. Yes. And you don't read these questions and you start writing about inclusive growth. Don't do that. Any question, read it thrice. 3 times you need to read the question. All the 3 questions. The reason being, among the 3, based on the core demand of the question. If I say women or poverty as a theme, there might be a couple of important words given in the sentence of the question that differs with the content you have prepared, or you may not be comfortable in those dimensions. Examiner is expecting some other content. Therefore, try to understand the question, identify the key words in the question, understand the core demand of the question, then decide whether you got necessary content with you to attempt this question or not. Therefore, read all the questions in a section. Spend a couple of minutes in understanding the question and recollect whether you have got information necessary fodder to write a very good essay on this. Accordingly, you pick the topic. Don't be hasty in selecting the question in the examination. Most of the students commit this mistake. Don't do that. Then, brainstorming. Brainstorming determines the quality of your content. What do you mean by quality of content? Most of you are familiar with how some people write essay. స్కూల్లో మనం ఈ జోక్ వినుంటాం, ఆవు కథ. ఏమి ఇచ్చిన ఆవు కథ రాస్తాడు, ఎందుకని అద్దపేం రాదు. బట్ ఇన్ బ్రెయిన్ స్టార్మింగ్ ద ఫోకస్ షుడ్ బి ఆన్ thinking deep about the topic. What do you mean by thinking deep about the topic? Let us consider inclusive growth as an example. The moment you look at inclusive growth as a topic, recollect what all you have read in the past about inclusive growth. Say, for example, you have read the definition somewhere given by either Niti Ayog or Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development or World Bank, whatever might be the agency, it has given a definition. Then suddenly the other day you read something about gender inequality index, and then you come across a program related to increasing female literacy in India. So randomly certain thoughts crop up in your mind, right? Make it a point that you are writing every thought that come across your mind in the rough space given to you. Whatever content, whatever dimension, whatever thought you get on inclusive growth, just put it on paper, right? Now, this is about brainstorming. We'll do a workout for that. Small exercise, we'll do that. Then, after brainstorming means thinking about the particular topic, about what you have read till date, recollecting every small piece of information related to inclusive growth and writing it down in a phrase or important word manner. Don't write the entire sentence or paragraph. If you want to highlight something called elements of inclusive growth, don't write the entire elements in paragraph format. Let us say poverty reduction, increase in employment. So this is called thought process. So this is one element, this is another element. Likewise, you write a rough sketch of your essay, and this is called brainstorming. Then what is the third part? Prioritize and sequence. What should be prioritizing and sequencing? First and foremost thing, this came up in my mind. So under brainstorming, I have written this as a first point. Okay, in the series of 1, 2, 3, 4, this was the first, this was second, this was the third, this was the fourth thing I have written. Should I write my essay in this manner? Brainstorming చేసేటప్పుడు ఏది గుర్తొస్తే అది ఒకదాని తర్వాత ఒకటి రాసా, అట్లే రాయాలనా essay? No. Organize it. How? Definition should come first, right? And then elements should come first, and then indices, and then consequences because of lack of inclusive growth, and then measures taken by the government to achieve inclusive growth, and then stakeholders involved, and then international practices like Bolsa Familia in Brazil, international practices. Likewise, once the brainstorming is done, you got some folder, you have written everything on a piece of paper, then start giving numbering to this. This numbering process is called prioritizing and sequencing. In prioritizing and sequencing, we are just trying to give an order to the points you generated in brainstorming session. బ్రెయిన్ చేసేటప్పుడు వాట్ ఎవర్ థాట్స్ దట్ క్రాప్ అప్ ఇన్ యువర్ మైండ్ అవన్నీ పేపర్ మీద రాసాం కదా, దానికి నంబరింగ్ ఇవ్వాలి. ఎందుకని? ఒకదాని తర్వాత ఒకటి కన్సైజ్డ్గా కొహరెంట్గా రాయడం కోసం. ఆర్ ఏబుల్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ దిస్? దిస్ డిటర్మైన్స్ ద క్వాలిటీ ఆఫ్ యువర్ ఎస్సే. Some people make a mistake of doing very good brainstorming, then they miss this step. Therefore, though the content is written in an appropriate manner, though they got many points, but it is not readable to the examiner. Say, మీరు ఒక కథ చదువుతున్నారు, తలాతోక లేకుండా ఫస్ట్ పారాగ్రాఫ్లో క్లైమాక్స్, సెకండ్ పారాగ్రాఫ్లో ఒక రొమాంటిక్ ఎపిసోడ్, థర్డ్ పారాగ్రాఫ్లో ఒక కామెడీ ఎపిసోడ్, లాస్ట్ పారాగ్రాఫ్లో ఇంట్రడక్షన్ చెప్పాడు అనుకోండి క్యారెక్టర్స్కి. ఈజ్ దట్ స్టోరీ రీడబుల్? ఈజ్ దట్ రైట్ అప్ రీడబుల్? చిరాకేస్టర్ చదవడానికి. లైక్ వైజ్ యువర్ ఎస్సే షుడ్ బి లైక్ ఏ వెరీ వెల్ క్రాఫ్టెడ్ ఎడిటెడ్ మూవీ. Whenever you watch a movie, there is something called screenplay. What is a screenplay? ఏ సీన్ తర్వాత ఏ సీన్ రావాలి. ఇఫ్ దెర్ ఈజ్ జంబ్లింగ్ ఇన్ స్క్రీన్ ప్లే, వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్? సినిమా హిట్టా ఫట్టా? ఫట్. బాంబ్స్ ఎట్ ద బాక్స్ ఆఫీస్ అంటారు కదా. సో యువర్ ఎస్ఏ విల్ బి బాంబ్డ్ ఎట్ ద టీఎస్పిఎస్సి ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ సెంటర్ ఇఫ్ యూ డోంట్ ఫాలో దిస్ ప్రయారిటైజింగ్ అండ్ సీక్వెన్సింగ్. సో choose the topic, brainstorm, and then prioritize and sequence. Finally, write introduction, body, and conclusion. We'll spend some time in these things, but before that, what are the expectations of examiner from you? What is it that examiner is expecting from you? ఏదో వెతుకుతున్నాడు మీ నుంచి, ఏదో అడుగుతున్నాడు, అది ఇవ్వాలి. What is that? Rational and concised presentation. What do you mean by rational? We'll come to that. Concised means అదేదో యాడ్ ఉంటుంది, సూటిగా సుత్తి లేకుండా అని. విచ్ యాడ్ తెలియదు, మౌంటైన్ డ్యూ అనుకుంటా, ఇఫ్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ రాంగ్. Okay, so concised means no beating around the bush. Just stick to the point and elaborate it, and do not take lengthy sentences or paragraph to express an idea. Some people take a complete page to express one idea. The rule is one idea, only one paragraph. Don't take beyond that. So concise writing means సోది రాయకుండా సుత్తి రాయకుండా కన్సైజ్గా just stick to the point. Then credit will be given for precise, orderly presentation. This precise, orderly presentation is also called as effective presentation. Then you need to stick as close as possible to the topic you have selected. These are the expectations from you by the examiner. If you satisfy these things, if you meet his expectations, if you convince him with good content, good marks. Then some basic suggestions to students as far as writing essay is concerned. First important thing is avoid grammatical mistakes. When I say avoiding grammatical mistake, should you write like Shashi Tharoor? No, which is not possible. అది both extreme cases అవ్వకూడదు. Some people start the sentence in past tense. I hope you are familiar with these three tenses: past, present, future, and they end the sentence in future tense. Avoid such kind of writing. Okay, then while evaluating some papers, we found out that if I want to write about British Parliament, students are writing British in this manner. And whenever they are writing about the names of heads of the states, in school we learned that it should be, these are fundamental grammatical mistakes, avoid them. Apart from this, average answer writing or sentence formation is good enough. Then avoid informal tone in your essay. What do you mean by avoiding informal tone? Whenever you interact or whenever you communicate with your friends informally, we use certain words, right? ఏం వాడరా మీరు, చాలా ఫార్మల్గా మాట్లాడతారా? అట్లా కాదు కదా. వాట్ ఈస్ దట్ గో టు వర్డ్ ఫర్ యూ? కొంతమందికి యాక్చువల్లీ అని వస్తుంది. ఏం మాట్లాడినా యాక్చువల్లీ టుడే ద క్లాస్ ఈజ్ వెరీ బోరింగ్, యాక్చువల్లీ ద పేపర్ ఈజ్ వెరీ టఫ్, obviously the paper will be very tough. So avoid such informal tone in answer writing. You are not communicating with your close friend, you are talking to or you are trying to convey a man who is having some 20-30 years of experience in teaching. Your answer scripts will be evaluated by degree lecturers. They got some qualification, knowledge, experience. Give some respect and try to maintain formal tone throughout the answer writing. Okay, then avoid being pessimistic in answer writing. What do you mean by avoiding being pessimistic in answer writing? What is pessimism? What is optimism? Being negative. Some people always carry a bag of mud with them. బురద పట్టుకుని జేబులో తిరుగుతూ ఉంటారు. ఎందుకని? కనిపించే కల్లా పూసేయాలి కదా. Such people are very detrimental to themselves. Detrimental అంటే డేంజరస్. వాడి వల్ల వాడికి ఉపయోగం ఉండదు, సొసైటీకి ఉపయోగం ఉండదు, దేశానికి ఉపయోగం ఉండదు. మనలో కూడా కొంతమంది ఉంటారు. ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్తా. ఒక స్టూడెంట్ ఉన్నాడు. ద క్వశ్చన్ ఈజ్, సార్ ఎలా ఆలోచించాలో నాకు ఎలా తెలుస్తుంది? ఎలా తినాలో ఎలా తెలిసింది? అంతే. సో ఇన్ దిస్ కేస్ you should be always writing some optimistic content. The reason being, you are going to be a part of government. And say for example somebody, ఈ అమ్మాయి DSPకి సెలెక్ట్ అయింది అనుకోండి. There was a phone call that a few groups are fighting with lethal weapons. ఆ అమ్మాయి ఏం చేయాలి అప్పుడు? ఎథిక్స్ పేపర్ తీసుకుని చదువుకోవాలా? No. There is a problem, you are supposed to provide a solution as soon as possible. Always in administration and governance, you are pushed into tough challenges. Therefore, your decision making is very important. And your decision making reflects a thought process. Thought process depends on knowledge available. Therefore, if you write pessimistic content, examiner will understand that this candidate is not suitable for a government job. Come. So avoid pessimistic writing. And some people, they criticize very much. Do not criticize, but you can be critical. What do you mean by being critical? Being critical means I say there is a flaw in your dress. ఆ షర్ట్ ఏంది, ఆ ప్యాంట్ ఏంది, ఆ బూట్లు ఏంది అన్నాను అనుకోండి. అప్పుడు ఏమంటావు? సరే కరెక్ట్ ఏంటో చెప్పు అంటావు కదా. When I criticize somebody, I need to provide a solution to the problem. And if I say the government has failed in increasing growth rates in the economy in the last 2.5 or 3 years, we need to write what are the measures that need to be taken by the government to revive growth. Do not stop by criticizing somebody. That makes your content look like a pessimistic content. Therefore, always you need to have that constructive criticism in mind. ఓకే, ఏం రాసినా కానీ మనం దానికి ఒక పర్పస్ ఉంటుంది ఎగ్జామ్లో. డోంట్ కీప్ ఆన్ క్రిటిసైజింగ్ ద గవర్నమెంట్. కేసీఆర్ ఫెయిల్ అయ్యాడు, మోడీ ఫెయిల్ అయ్యాడు. డోంట్ యూజ్ దాట్. దెర్ ఆర్ ఫెయిల్యూర్స్. వీ నీడ్ టు హైలైట్ ద ఫెయిల్యూర్స్. బట్ whenever you are highlighting failures, provide measures and solutions to overcome that. That is what is expected from administrators. In the Japan example, some groups are fighting with lethal weapons and you are a DSP. What do? You send the force, you don't go? Safe game. Very good. Anyways, right answer. That is how you try to handle the situation. Therefore, in this case, don't criticize and leave the answer then and there itself. You criticize the government and then provide solutions. Okay? Then, apart from this, examples, case studies, etc. should be used based on the context. Facts, flowcharts, diagrams, etc. use them meaningfully. That means some people have got very good memory power, unlike me. You can memorize, you can remember a lot of data. But because that is your advantage, don't dump data in your essay writing. Settle down, kuchomma. Don't dump data in your answers, even your GS answers or essay writing. Why? Examiner is not expecting huge data without content. For example, how many of you like double cometa? అదే తిండి తిన్నట్టే మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. యు లైక్ ఇట్. ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఓవర్ స్వీట్, యక్ అంటాం కదా. ద రీజన్ బీయింగ్, దెర్ ఈస్ సేయింగ్ ఇన్ సాంస్క్రిట్, సర్వత్రా అతి వర్జయాత్, అంటే అతి చేయకూడదు బేసిక్గా. సో వెన్ యూ నో హ్యూజ్ డేటా, డోంట్ డంప్ ఇట్, యూజ్ ఇట్ meaningfully based on the context. And the flow charts and diagrams are like value addition. What do you mean by flowchart and diagram? I'll explain with an example once we're done with this basic discussion. And then, very important part, structure of essay. How many parts we have in an essay writing? 3 parts. First one is intro. What do you mean by introduction? Introduction should be very meaningful. In introduction itself, you need to make what is your stand to the examiner. Just explain what do you think about the theme or the question or the topic to the examiner. And introduction must create interest in the minds of examiner. It must be very engaging. మీకు బాగా అర్థమయ్యేలా చెప్పాలంటే, RRR సినిమా చూసుంటారు కదా. What was the way in which Ram Charan was introduced? Fire. Fans ఏం చెప్తారు, గూస్ బంప్స్ వచ్చినాయి అట చూస్తే. Examiner should get goosebumps when he reads your introduction. ఎందుకు చెప్తా. If introduction is very lethargic and very disinteresting, examiner will lose the interest in reading body and conclusion. Introduction సరిగా రాయకపోతే ఏం చదువుతాంలే అని ఒక నీరసం వస్తుంది. I think most of you read Hindu newspaper editorials, articles, etc. First 1 or 2 paragraphs కనుక మరీ బోరింగ్గా ఉంటే చదివేరా తర్వాత? Generally we don't like to read. Therefore, how to make examiner read entire essay written by you? అతన్ని మీ essay మొత్తం చదివించాలి. ఏం చేయాలి? Engage him. How do you engage him? With a very good introduction. Introduction should be like introduction of a movie star in a movie, particularly Telugu movie. ఇట్లా అంటే 10 మంది వెనక్కి వెళ్ళాలా, ఇట్లా అంటే కారు వెనక్కి వెళ్ళిపోవాలా, లేదు ఇట్లా అంటే ట్రైన్ వెనక్కి వెళ్ళిపోవాలి. That kind of bang should be given in introduction. And this is a place where you reveal your stand. to examiner. Say for example, if I say new woman in India is a myth. Myth ante ottide abaddam ani. If you think that it is a myth, give that stand in the introduction itself to the examiner. Ikkade cheppandi adi. Then examiner will look for how good you have substantiated the stand. Substantiate ante dani supporting ga answer write. Here I said new woman in India is a myth ante adi abaddam ani cheppa. Then examiner will look for those points, those paragraphs, those dimensions which prove my stand. Whatever you reveal, whatever you say to the examiner introduction, it should be validated, authenticated and convinced in the body part. ఇక్కడ ఏదైతే చెప్పామో దాన్ని సపోర్ట్ చేస్తే బాడీ ఉండాలి. ఓకే, నౌ ఇన్ వాట్ వేస్ ఇంట్రడక్షన్ కెన్ బి written in the examination? There are many ways. Somebody may be having this quality of writing very good quotes, right? Whenever you are writing answer or essay with a quotation, if it is self-explanatory, you don't have to explain it. If it is not self-explanatory, like something called a Sanskrit quote, not every examiner is well versed in Sanskrit. Therefore, you need to explain the quote in 2 lines. Again, don't take a paragraph to explain the quotation. It is boring. So, if you start your essay with a quotation, for example, in this context, give any quotation. Adedo undi kada. Adeni. What was that quote in Sanskrit? Yatra naryante pujyante. Very good. ఇప్పుడు నాలాంటి వాళ్ళకి యత్ర తత్ర అర్థం కాదు. ఏం చేయాలి అప్పుడు? Within the brackets, give the English translation. What do you mean by this quotation? In that quotation, it says women are given a lot of importance in our society, right? Antena dan ardham? Okay. When I am writing that quotation, what I am trying to do? Am I saying that it is a myth? No. I am saying that it can be possibility in India. Then, if you begin your essay with a quotation, remember, end the essay with another quote. Essay quotation to start cheste, quotation to end cheyandi. Now, another method of introduction. Anecdote. Anecdote means a short story. What is a short story? How many of you have tried short story till date? Everybody has done this. Chappatla మీరు సిగ్గుపడుతున్నారు. And they are very good. They ante girls. Why? When your mom or dad asks you, ఎందుకు లేట్ అయింది కాలేజ్ నుంచి, what do you say? Within 10 seconds, you cook up a story. ఒక అద్భుతమైన కథ అల్లుతారు అప్పుడే. And that is very convincing, right? చెప్పలే ఎప్పుడు అట్లా convincing stories. That is called anecdote. So, use your skill of convincing others by creating a short story which is relevant to the theme of the question and convince the examiner. This generates a lot of interest. If it is your strength, write the essay with the anecdote. Start it with an anecdote. If quotations are your strength, start with quotation. Elage rayali ani thumb rule ledu. There is no such hard fast rule about how to begin an essay. You can begin it in any form. Whichever is your strength, whichever is your comfort zone, adopt that. Then somebody may use some statistics. The other day they have seen newspaper in which gender inequality index was published, and within that India is not doing well. So you can start with the statistics. Recently, gender inequality index was released and India is performing very poorly. This reflects the state of women in India. So, using statistics, you can introduce the essay, or you can define the concept. What do you mean by definition in this case? Woman definition japalna, or we should define what is myth? Right. We should define what is new woman. According to you, what constitutes new woman should be the definition part. Start with the definition. Then, you can start with the historical background of the topic. How do you start with the historical background? In this case, we are referring to new woman. What happened in ancient India? What was the status of women? On par with men, or women were discriminated? Discriminated? Post-Vedic, status of women deteriorated. Before that, let us consider IVC. What was the status of women? On par with men. That means initially women got equal opportunity, equal role in the society. The status was equal on par with men. Then it deteriorated. Today it is further deteriorating. Therefore, you can use the historical background to start the essay. These are certain methods of starting an essay. Next, what should be the method of writing content in body? How do you write body? Body is the time and space where you got only one golden opportunity to do something that is called convincing examiner. Why? In the introduction, you have taken a stand. మీ ఒపీనియన్ ఏందో ఇంట్రడక్షన్ చెప్పేశారు. Now, this is the place and time to convince the examiner that the stand taken by you in introduction is appropriate. ఇంట్రడక్షన్లో ఏదైతే స్టాండ్ తీసుకున్నారో అది కరెక్ట్ అని ఇక్కడ చెప్పి కన్విన్స్ చేయాలి ఎగ్జామినర్ని. నౌ హౌ డు యూ డూ దిస్? The best solution to write a very good body is you recollect whatever general studies syllabus you read for the examination. And in this case, first one is you can use sectoral dimensions as a method. Sectoral dimensions. What do you mean by sectoral dimensions? Social dimension, economic, next, political dimension, environmental dimension, legal dimension, technical dimension, cultural dimension. Likewise, you got several dimensions to look into about the issue. For example, socially women are looked down. As far as economy is concerned, I'll give you 2 points here. I mean, there are many. For the time being, just to make you understand. Gender inequality in pay. That means for same work done by women, they are paid less on par with men. And there is something called glass ceiling effect. What is glass ceiling effect? Women are not given higher positions because of their gender. Companies believe that, firms believe that women are incapable to handle higher positions and the pressures that come with those higher positions. ఎంతమంది చీఫ్ సెక్రటరీస్ ఉన్నారు, ఎంతమంది డీజీపీలు ఉన్నారు ఫీమేల్స్? Why they are not given? So that is another dimension. As far as economics is concerned, politics, representation of women in local bodies, state legislatures, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and governor, president. Environmental, impact of environment is directly proportional to status of women in India. Women has to travel long to fetch water for consumption of drinking purpose, household activities, everything. Legal dimension, though we got legislations like Domestic Violence Act, still violence against women is increasing. So likewise, you can touch upon several dimensions. Then institutional dimensions. What are institutional dimensions here? There are 3 major institutions in India. What are they? Separation of powers, gurtu techukondi polity nunchi. Judiciary, executive, legislature. Judiciary, executive, legislature. Then add few things. Media, the most menacing thing in India as of now. Okay. So these are certain institutional dimensions as far as the topic is concerned. That means, what are the judgments that made status of women equal on par with men? There might be some judgments, there might be some executive decisions or programs implemented. There might be some legislations made for women welfare, and media, role played by media. And whenever a rape happens or a molestation attempt happens, you know how media behaves, right? Until makeup వేసుకొని 7 గంటల టీవీ ముందుకు వస్తారు. వాట్ డు దే డూ? అమ్మాయి డ్రెస్ వల్లేనండి ఇదంతా, చిట్టి చిట్టి డ్రెస్సులు వేసుకుంటుంది, రేప్ చేస్తున్నారు. దట్ మీన్స్ హౌ మీడియా ఈజ్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్సింగ్ ద రోల్ అండ్ స్టేటస్ ఆఫ్ న్యూ ఉమెన్. ఇట్ కుడ్ బి ఎ డైమెన్షన్. Then you can add other dimensions like religion, class, caste, ethnicity, art, music, language, dance, etc. That means all these dimensions can be used to understand the state and status of women in India. So this is about body. Then come to another important part, that is conclusion. Generally, conclusion is two parts. Most of you doesn't understand this, and most of the students are committing this mistake in answer writing. Conclusion consists of two parts. First one is pre-conclusion. What do you mean by pre-conclusion, or what should we write under pre-conclusion? Whatever you feel like writing, what do you call that? Way forward is pre-conclusion. So till conclusion, you have identified several challenges, several problems. For all those challenges and problems, solutions must be given in the pre-conclusion. Then how to make this pre-conclusion a meaningful and readable conclusion? First one, you could adopt short-term measures, medium-term measures, long-term measures. Measures for what? There was a problem identified in the introduction. What was that? Status of women. Then you can add some other things in pre-conclusion itself. What are they? Institutional measures, infrastructural measures, implementational measures, attitudinal measures. Now, what do you mean by attitudinal measure as far as this new woman in India is a myth topic is concerned? Why there is discrimination in India? We use this word very frequently. It starts with P. Patriarchy. What is patriarchy? It is an attitude, right? Therefore, suggest something to let go the attitude called patriarchy in the pre-conclusion. Therefore, this should be your pre-conclusion. Pre-conclusion is nothing but the measures you are going to write to overcome the problem or challenge identified in the introduction. Then, what is conclusion? Conclusion should be always futuristic, visionary. That means whatever you have discussed till here, ఒక ప్రాబ్లం ఐడెంటిఫై చేసాం, డైమెన్షన్స్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసాం బాడీలో. ప్రీ కంక్లూజన్లో ఆ ప్రాబ్లం ఓవర్కమ్ చేయడానికి ఏం మెజర్స్ తీసుకోవాలో రాసాం కదా. మరి కంక్లూజన్ ఏం రాయాలి? కంక్లూజన్ షుడ్ బి అరౌండ్ 50 words. ఇవన్నీ జరిగినాయి అనుకోండి కాసేపు. ఈ మెజర్స్ అన్నీ ఇక్కడ ఏదైతే రాసామో, వాట్ ఎవర్ మెజర్స్ హెవ్ రిటన్ ఇన్ ప్రీ కంక్లూజన్, ఇఫ్ దే ఆర్ ఇంప్లిమెంటెడ్, దెన్ వాట్ విల్ హ్యాపెన్ టు ఉమెన్ ఇన్ ఇండియా? బెటర్గా ఉంటుందా? వాళ్ళ స్టేటస్ బెటర్గా ఉంటుందా? ఎలా బెటర్గా ఉంటుంది అనేది ఊహించి రాయటం కంక్లూజన్. కంక్లూజన్ షుడ్ బి ఆల్వేస్ ఆప్టిమిస్టిక్, ఫ్యూచరిస్టిక్ అండ్ విజనరీ. ఆప్టిమిజం అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఇదంతా జరిగింది, ఉమెన్ స్టేటస్ బాగా ఇంప్రూవ్ అయింది, నో వైలెన్స్ అగేన్స్ట్ ఉమెన్, దెర్ ఈజ్ అబ్సల్యూట్ జెండర్ ఈక్వాలిటీ, ప్యారిటీ. దెన్ డోంట్ యు థింక్ దట్ the country would be the better place to live? Home is the best place to live, and it adds more contribution to GDP, and women play an important role in shaping the characters of individuals through the process called enculturation. లైక్ వైజ్ ఇదంతా జరిగితే ఎంత బాగుంటుంది, ఒక 50 words, ఎండ్ ఇట్ ఆన్ ఏ పాజిటివ్ నోట్. ఉమెన్ స్టేటస్ పెరగదు, ఇంకా వీళ్ళు ఇంతే రోజు రోజుకి నాశనం అట్లా రాయకూడదు. అండ్ యాజ్ ఎ సెడ్, what is the last thing we do when you go to any lunch or dinner? Somebody said ice cream, dessert, double ka meeta, final ga pan. Okay, example చెప్తా. మంచి దమ్కి బిర్యానీ తిన్నాం, మటన్ బిర్యానీ విత్ పాయా, చికెన్ ఫ్రై, ఫిష్, ప్రాన్స్, ఎవ్రీథింగ్. ఐస్ క్రీమ్ బ్యాడ్గా ఉంది. వెన్ యూ కమ్ అవుట్, వాట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఫీలింగ్ ప్రివెయిల్స్ ఇన్ యువర్ మైండ్? ఇక్కడే ఉంటుంది, బాగాలేదురా. అప్పుడు దాకా బేసిన్ బిర్యానీ తిన్నారు కదా, బాగానే తిన్నారు కదా, అది కనపడదు, అది గుర్తుండదు. ఇట్ డజంట్ క్యారీ. ఏం గుర్తుంటుంది మనకి? దట్ లాస్ట్ థింగ్. భోజనం సరిగా లేదు, మంచి ఐస్ క్రీమ్ పెట్టారు, లేదు ఒక మంచి పాన్ వేశారు, ఓ నైస్ ఫీలింగ్ ఉంటుంది కదా, రైట్? కంక్లూజన్ ఈజ్ లైక్ దాట్. ఎగ్జామినర్ విల్ గివ్ యూ మార్క్స్ ఆఫ్టర్ రీడింగ్ కంక్లూజన్ కదా. ఇది హై ఇచ్చింది అనుకోండి, లైక్ నైస్ పాన్ ఆర్ స్వీట్ ఆర్ ఐస్ క్రీమ్ లాగా, మీ ఎస్ఏకి 30 వేద్దాం అనుకున్నాడు, ఆ హై వస్తుంది. ఏదైనా లాస్ట్లో కొంచెం పాజిటివ్గా షుగర్ కోటింగ్ వేసి ఎండ్ చేయాలి. దిస్ ఈజ్ అబౌట్ ది ఆర్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆన్సర్ రైటింగ్. ఐ విల్ టేక్ సమ్ క్వశ్చన్స్. ఎనీ క్వశ్చన్స్? Pre-conclusion, some 200 to 300. Introduction, 100. Remaining body. I think you are supposed to write 1000 words, right, for each essay? Very good. So, any other questions?
Sir, while discussing comprehension part, comprehension is something how we understand a thing, how well we receive it.
How good you understand a topic and how you're presenting it.
It's concerned with presentation also.
No, yes, it is concerned with presentation and it basically depends on your English language skills. ఒకటి ఎట్లా అర్థం చేసుకుంటాం చెప్పండి? మనకు అర్థం అవ్వాలి కదా సర్టెన్ వర్డ్స్ అవి ఇవి. డోంట్ వరీ, ఇవాళ నుంచి వర్క్ చేయండి. యూ గాట్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్. వెన్ ఈజ్ యూ మెయిన్స్ ఎగ్జామ్? జూన్, రైట్? దిస్ ఈజ్ జాన్. ట్రస్ట్ మీ, లాస్ట్ బ్యాచ్ వాళ్ళకి ఇట్లే వీ హ్యావ్ కండక్టెడ్ ద సేమ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్. సమ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ హ్యావ్ గాట్ సేమ్ డౌట్స్. But after 1 month of answer writing and listening to the faculty when we discuss every day the questions we give, they felt very comfortable and surprisingly, very surprisingly, lot of difference from their first day's answer to the 30th day answer. వాళ్ళ ఇంప్రూవ్మెంట్ వాళ్ళే నమ్మలేకపోయారు. ఎవరు గొప్ప ఇది? వాళ్ళ గొప్పే. వీఆర్ హియర్ టు గైడ్ యూ. ఇఫ్ యూ ప్రాక్టీస్ రెగ్యులర్లీ, వాళ్ళు రోజు రాశారు అనుకోండి, 30 days, 30 answers. Trust me, there will be a lot of difference from the first answer to the 30th answer. Writing skill can be mastered only through practice. Whether it is essay or GS answer, whatever it is, you need to practice. You need to write 3 to 4 answers every day. అట్లా కాదు, ఇప్పుడేం రాయని పడుకుంటాను, ఎగ్జామ్లో ఎరగదీస్తానంటే పేపర్ ఎరగదీస్తుంది మనల్ని. You got experience with this prelims paper, right? Most of the students fail to bubble some questions. మీకు ఫ్రెండ్స్ ఉండుంటారు కదా, వై నెగిటివ్ మార్కింగ్ లేదు. వాట్ డస్ కామన్ సెన్స్? అన్ని బబుల్ చేస్తే 2 మార్కులు వస్తాయి కదా, అవి కూడా ఎందుకు చేయలేకపోయారు? యూ డిడ్ నాట్ ప్రాక్టీస్ ఇట్ హియర్. సేమ్ థింగ్ విల్ హ్యాపెన్ ఇఫ్ యూ డోంట్ ప్రాక్టీస్ ఆన్సర్ రైటింగ్. సో ఎనీ అదర్ క్వశ్చన్స్?